Okay, hi guys, welcome back to You Are Beautiful with Dr. Leah. And I'm so excited today because we have a very special participant, Georgia, and she's from UK. So I'm based in Chicago. So Georgia, can you tell a little bit? Well, first of all, where are you from in UK?
Yeah, so I'm Georgia and I live in Northamptonshire in England, which is about an hour away from London.
And
I live
which way, up or down, north or south?
south.
South. Okay, well, just for people who don't know. So I grew up in the Netherlands, and I used to live in London, in East Hampton, and then I used to live in Royal Leamington Spa. So, but no one knows where it is if they're not from England. So I love. How is the weather there? How is the weather? Is it good or is it cold still?
Oh, sorry, I keep freezing.
Oh, I can see you. No worries.
Sorry, it just cut out there. I didn't catch what you said. Sorry.
Oh, I was saying like, how is the weather? Because it's been so cold here recently in Chicago. Is it better with you guys?
It's really sunny today. It's actually really nice out. So hopefully that's the start of spring because
I know, I know, I know. It's almost March, so
yeah.
yeah, great. So of course we're here to talk about your journey and also because we have a lot of followers and listeners who have similar things like you and I, and I think sharing each other's journey is so powerful, right? And raising awareness, but also you can see on many forums people asking what helped you, maybe it will help me. You always try and try. So can you tell a little bit about your journey from when you were little to now, and really what worked?
Yeah, so I've had eczema since I was a baby. Eczema has always been there for me. Then I started getting psoriasis when I was like 17, 18 years old, so about 6 years ago now. And it started on my scalp, the psoriasis,
Yeah.
and then it went onto my forehead quite bad, and it's now like on my chest and like my hips and other areas. And I have been really struggling with finding something that does help because I felt like every time I went to see a doctor, they just like gave me the same things or they gave me steroids, which I'm like don't want to use too much. But I think one thing that definitely helps is the weather when it's nice and sunny. The sun really helps clear my skin up. Managing things like stress really helps to just keep me calm because I think stress is a big trigger for my skin. And maybe cutting out sugar a little bit, but it's not something that I do too
Hard.
much because I still love chocolate and things like that. So, but yeah, I think mainly just like the sunlight and stress, and then healing like naturally, just like learning to really embrace my skin. I think my forehead has been really bad, especially towards the end of last year. It was really bad, the skin, but it seems to have got so much better in the last month. And I honestly think it's part of it is because I have learned to accept it and I've just been happier within myself. So I think being happier makes your skin a bit better. I'm not saying that you can heal yourself by being happier, but embracing it is part of it, I think.
Right, right. Well, I think you said so many things. I think the biggest thing you said stress. And
Yeah.
everyone I speak to, they say, and even my doctors would say also, dermatologists, reduce your stress, reduce your stress. Like, okay, great. How? How do I reduce my stress? And by you saying, by just accepting who you are and being happier with yourself reduces your stress, right? Your
Yeah.
hormones, your so I think it's such a huge part. Maybe, and I mean, for everyone it's different, but for me it was even bigger than diet
Yeah.
or steroids, definitely, or anything else, right? So um I want to go back because you have inverse psoriasis, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so can you explain a little bit what it is? Because I think many people don't know what that is. How is that different from a normal psoriasis, even though there are so many different gradations there?
Yeah, so I have plaque psoriasis on my scalp and on my forehead, but then I have inverse psoriasis on my chest. And I believe inverse psoriasis is psoriasis that shows up in like the folds of the skin.
Right.
So I have it like underneath my breast. So obviously that's like a skin fold. And I
It's very
think
painful, right?
yeah, and I think people get it like inside their elbows and things like that. The other, like obviously the opposite side of your elbow. So yeah, I think inverse psoriasis. I've definitely felt like the inverse psoriasis on my chest has been the hardest to deal with.
Yeah.
Because it is something that you, where it is underneath like my breast, like it's hard to put cream there because it just rubs off so easily, like when you're wearing clothes, and also like, when I work out, like the sweat gets there because it's like a skin fold.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the inverse psoriasis has been the hardest to deal with.
Yeah. It is. I was. It is. I think when I speak with people or I see, I think it is one of the hardest because it's like for people, it's not here, right? It's where you constantly, or like, how do you wear a bra, right? If it's under your, how do you? It's not just. It is painful already, like when you have it on your skin, but when you have it on like on the folds that you constantly move, it's incredibly painful. And you're right. And and I felt also steroids, they might help for 2 seconds there, right? And
Yeah.
then it's not. And have you so it's interesting, you said like the sun helps, right? Because for some people sun helps and for some people it doesn't.
Yeah.
But you feel that when you are, and obviously you are in England, UK, there's not much sun, right?
Yeah, so yeah, I definitely notice it like when I go on holiday and in the summer. Obviously, last summer we were on lockdown, so we had a lot of sun. Like it was a really good summer, and I was off work because of lockdown, and I was just in the garden every day, and that really helped my skin. So yeah, the sun definitely is. When it gets to winter, I do get a bit anxious about how my skin's going to react during that time. But I felt like I said at the beginning, I felt like I've learnt to deal with it more. So it has helped in the winter as well.
Right. And do you feel it's sun and humidity, or is it sun and kind of dry air?
Yeah, I think it's the sun and dry air. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because I feel the same when I go somewhere when it's very dry. It helps better when I go to like visit our in-laws in Florida when it's very humid. It doesn't get even though I'm in the sun, it doesn't really improve. So it's interesting. It's right. And in terms of meds, you said you really try more holistic approach, like stress management. We know like the sugar, alcohol, which is also hard to give up, right? I'm not giving that up yet. And any other meds? Did you try anything else that might help?
No, I have no. I haven't been to like a doctor or dermatologist about my skin in so long. I feel like I kind of got to a point where I was like giving up with like seeing a doctor. So I just kind of, that's why I just started to like learn a bit more about my skin myself. I'm not saying that I'm like an expert at all. I'm not, like, I don't know. I think it was more of a case of like trial and error. And that's why I started my Instagram page as well, to connect with other people and ask them like what did they try, and like see if it works for me. Because what works for one person may not work for another person. But yeah, I've just kind of just gone on by myself, really.
And I love your Instagram page, and I'm going to put it all under the write-up on YouTube and Instagram and everywhere. Can you see me? I think you're
sorry, just froze.
Don't worry. I said I love your Instagram page. I think like everyone who will listen now and in the future should go and look, because you are so, I feel you're so positive, which is amazing. And yet you're so positive, which is amazing. And yet you are so real. You show the pain, right, that you have and all of us have, but yet you're so positive. I love your pictures also in the bar and showing your beauty. So I will definitely put it so everyone can go and see you and find you. I think it will help a lot of people because, like you said, and I speak with many people, some have really great dermatologists, some have, because you go to dermatologists, but it's also a lot of, very often it's a GI, right? It's what we eat. You go to a GI doctor and they are not necessarily looking at all holistically, right? So like, to whom do you go? And many people give up and they say, well, I know my body the best, right?
Yeah.
I'm the expert in that. No one else is, and no one will ever be. So I'm going to treat it myself and see what works by eliminating or by adding it. So, and another question, because you're in UK, did you have your COVID vaccine or?
I haven't had mine yet, but the rest of my family have had theirs pretty much now.
Okay, good. Because, many people ask, will my psoriasis worsen? Will it become better? Do you worry at all, or you just want a vaccine? I think you're frozen a little bit. But no worries. I will just talk for a little bit because, yeah, many people say, and I saw, obviously we're not here to give any advice, but I saw some people saying they had it and it didn't affect them. I saw also some people saying they had COVID and it did affect their psoriasis because your immune system went crazy, right? And then it manifested in the skin. Are you worried at all about taking vaccine or not?
No, it's not something that's really crossed my mind, to be honest. I think if I was offered the vaccine, I'd go and get it, and if it did affect my skin in any way, then I'd just feel like, I don't know, as long as it's not a long-term thing, like it's going to make my psoriasis worse forever, it maybe I have a little flare-up because of it. That's something that I can deal with, and it's like worth the long-term effect of the vaccine. So yeah, it's not something that I've really worried about, to be honest.
That's good. Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm like, give it to me now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's great. Well, I hope you guys, get it quick because I mean, UK has been doing so well with vaccinations compared to the rest of us. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. So what do you so I mean, you look beautiful. You don't see any psoriasis, and that's what also people say. Oh, I don't see anything. Do you really have something? Like, oh, I'm hiding it. Do you ever not hide it? And how do you react to people who ask you, what is that spot? Are you okay?
Um, I think for me, it is quite easy to hide my psoriasis because obviously, like having it on my chest, I don't have my chest out like
No.
barely ever, only like when I'm on holiday really and I'm wearing like a bikini. So I think that's why I started to get really down about my skin when it started to show on my forehead more, because I was so worried that people would notice it more. But it was something that I did find makeup would cover it up quite well. But I sometimes did see people look at it, like if I was really close to them, they could like see my hairline, especially that when that was quite bad. Um, so yeah, I remember at school, people did ask about it. I had this boy once, like when I had it like really bad behind my ears, he asked like, "Oh, what happened to your ears?" Um, and I was like thinking, "What do you mean? What happened? Nothing happened. This is just my skin." But I think that really upset me because I realised that other people were seeing it, because obviously when it's somewhere like behind your ears, you don't see that every day.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think about other people seeing it. So I
Yeah.
think that was when I started to get really conscious. But other than that, I haven't really had people ask about it. I normally find that I get it out there and tell them before they start asking questions.
Good for
So
you. Yeah.
I can kind of like tell them about it in my own way. Like for instance, I started a new job in September last year, and I felt like they were looking at it, but obviously they didn't ask. So I was there about a week or so before I mentioned it, and I said, "Oh, I've got psoriasis." I just brought it up really casually, so that they
Did they
didn't feel
know what
sort
it was? Did they know even what it was?
they'd heard of it, but no, they didn't know anyone who had it. So yeah, they found it quite interesting actually for me to like explain about it and like explain they didn't know you can get it on your face. So yeah, explaining it was good for me to like put it in my own words, so they didn't think it was anything like contagious or anything like that.
Yeah, and oh my God, and you know what it is? As I was looking, even less than 100 years ago, people were thinking that leprosy is the same as psoriasis, right? Which in a sense they didn't know, but it's crazy. And you're right. When I look and I will speak with people, but I look at myself, when people look at my face, I'll think, oh, they're looking at it, because I also had it a lot on my forehead. I recently had it also on my cheeks, and they might not even look, they just look at your face. But consciously, you constantly think that everything evolves around your psoriasis, and they look at you. And,
Yeah,
and a lot of people, even my doctors, would say, oh, what happened behind your ear? I'm like, my like general practitioners.
yeah,
And I'm like, I have psoriasis, remember? And I would get very upset, like you said, and I think many people will get a bit angry even. And now I remind myself they don't mean bad. They just blurt
yeah,
it out. They just say it, or they really curious because they don't have it. They don't think how much it hurts you.
yeah,
Right. But at the end, I'm like, it's our skin. You don't say to someone, why you like this or why you like that? Why comment on those things? And I think that's why we need to raise awareness about psoriasis, because so many people in the world have eczema and have psoriasis, and I think 20% of kids have eczema, and some grow out of it or some not. And eczema, psoriasis, it's all autoimmune conditions, right? So it's all related. And a lot of people who have that, they also have GI, like Crohn's disease, or they have Hashimoto's, or they have some other diseases. So I think what you said about loving yourself and being happy with yourself is really one of the biggest, not well, cures even, I would say, even though there is no cure, but I would think people try different medicines and some work, some don't, but you have to continue it your whole life. If you
yeah,
stop, it comes back. So it's almost like you are healing yourself with positive image of yourself, right? So it's great.
yeah. I definitely felt like I've had a new outlook on my skin, as it used to be something that I hated, but now I feel like it's something that is part of me. It's not all of me. It's not like my entire personality is like psoriasis, but it's like part of me and it makes me. So it's unique. I think that's
Yes.
the different outlook that I've had on it recently that's really helped me to like embrace it and really love it more. Like especially like when I haven't got any makeup on and my forehead is having a flare up, and I look in the mirror and I think I used to be something that I would just be drawn to in the mirror and pick at and just hate everything about it. But now it's something that I look at and I think that's so different to like anyone else. Like other people have psoriasis on their forehead, but we all have different patterns of psoriasis on our forehead as well. Everyone is unique, like everyone's skin is unique. So yeah, I think that's definitely like helped me change my outlook on my skin.
I love that. I love, oh my God, that's the message. I mean, everyone is unique. And I feel like, well, like your skin is clear, but I have patches. So I am different. And I love it. I think just thinking like this, I actually never thought like this, is changing that perspective and really
Yeah.
helping yourself. I really love that. So um I have another question. So what keeps you, like, I know sometimes, even though in all the positivity, and I love, like you said, your Instagram, you're so positive, you still have dark days.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do on those days? What keeps you going on those days?
I think sometimes when you are having a bad day, I think sometimes it is okay to have like a cry and like feel sorry for yourself a little bit. It's okay to like not be positive about it all the time, because I am definitely not positive about it all the time. Like my friends and family will tell you that like I do get really down about my skin, not as much as I used to, but I think it's okay to just have a cry, get it all out there, and then do the things that you know are going to like help you a little bit. So small things like when I have a bath with like a salt bath, that really helps. and then like getting out and like just really like, obviously I moisturize every day anyway, but just really like taking care to like moisturize, and then just doing things that make you happy, like go for a walk to clear your head, or like sitting down and like watching your favorite film. And I know it sounds like so simple and so like obvious, but it
But
really
it's
does
not.
like,
But
it
it's
really
not.
does help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's not obvious. I think many people say just hide it, hide it. And that's all about your personality saying, I'm more happy with myself. Like, just have a cry. It's okay. You
yeah,
know, I do the same. I go into the shower, I just cry my eyes out. So, you know, so it's, which is fine. And then I feel so
yeah,
much better. It's all out of me, you know, all the negative energy. So I think that's a great, great advice. And I think so many people go, especially like newly diagnosed, because some people, like I had it since I was 6 years old. So I don't know life without it. But some people also like you had it much, you know, later in life, and then suddenly is what's just happening with me, and you have to deal with it. I think that's amazing, amazing, amazing advice. I love it. I love
oh,
it.
thanks.
And then so where can people find you? What do you, I know you are on Instagram, anywhere else or anything else that you, before we come to your superpower, anything else that you would like to say, to share also about you?
No, it's mainly just my Instagram that I put everything on there, because I think I started my Instagram so separate from, I have a personal page as well, obviously, where you share like family and friend pictures. But I think I started my Instagram separately because I wanted to keep that just for like psoriasis and talking to like that
Yeah.
community. And also I think because I was a bit embarrassed about people in real life knowing about my psoriasis, because there's people that I've worked with for like years or been friends with for years that still don't know about my psoriasis because I used to hide it so well. So I think maybe that was part of the reason why I kept it all on that page. But now I am being open about it and being like, this is, I'm merging the two, and like sometimes I'll post a picture with like my skin out on my personal page as well, which is really brave of me to do because I didn't do
It
that
is so
before.
brave. Oh my God.
Oh, thank you. So
It is,
I feel really proud of myself for doing that. So it is, but it's mainly on that Instagram page that I put everything out there.
yeah. Oh, and even your, like your Instagram name is, you know, My Happy Psoriasis. I mean, it caught my eye because I'm like, it's so positive. And yes, it's okay sometimes to cry and be down, but I think it's almost like attracting that positive energy also, and giving it back. And what you said, kind of merging the two personalities. I have the same. A lot of my friends still maybe even don't know now that I have psoriasis, which is crazy, right? So it's and I think embracing it. And when you, like, for example, my daughter who's 4, she has very bad eczema, and then but I try to say, you're so beautiful, you're so different, and exactly what you say, which is so amazing. I'm like, oh my God, I needed to talk to you like a few years ago to learn, you know. And and then she says, oh, you, mommy and I are twinsies. You also have spots. So we're the same. I'm like, mommy. And that's amazing. I'm like, wow, we're twinsies. And then sometimes, because I do take biologics now for my psoriasis, and it goes away, this one helps me. And the spot disappears, which makes me happy, but also a bit like, oh, I need the spot to show to my daughter that we are the same, that it is okay. So I like that you say this whole merging, and really being open and raising awareness that it's not some contagious disease, and it is hard to live with it. You know, it's
Yeah,
because I feel like you said, if you tell someone, oh, I have high blood pressure, you can't see it, but everyone understands what it is.
yeah,
And when you say I have psoriasis, people either don't understand or they immediately think it's contagious because it's on your skin. So I think raising awareness in a positive way, so also your friends and family can give you that positivity back, is so, so important. I love this. And so I think one of the last question, what is your superpower?
I think it's just going back to what I said before about like the different patterns of your skin and just being unique. Um, yeah, that's basically it. That's all I
I
can
love
really.
it. No, I love it. And I think that's basically sometimes you see people, because also with psoriasis, we actually talked, but we haven't named it because it is autoimmune disease, right? It causes a lot of anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
And I had big periods of depression, and I'm sure a lot of people did as well. We don't talk much about it, but it affects mental health as well. So I think sometimes it's that little turn of saying, I am unique because I have this unique patterns on my
Yeah.
face or body. It changes the whole perspective and even can get you out of that. That was for me, getting me out of that depression, and I'm crying in the shower, of course. So
Yeah,
so
definitely.
yeah. Well, this has been amazing. It was so great. I
No,
would
thank you
love
for
to,
having me. It was
yeah,
really,
no,
really nice and positive.
it is. And I would love to connect again, like, down the road to see your journey and where we are also. And I will basically post it all out today. And also your Instagram, so people can start following you and exchanging. And please also feel free to post this on your Instagram. And so also for everyone else who's listening, thank you so much. Please follow Georgia, follow me as well, and subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back again very soon. So great. So